Nick. Penny for your thoughts.
Oh, why, thank you.
Yeah, hold on to that. This is how this happens. You drop it, it hits the light, knocks over the camera, and this light comes into my eye and electrocutes my brain. That's how that happens. That's designs. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to... Put it down. Welcome back to the 1.5 White Guys podcast, or more unsolicited white guy opinions on movies for long. I'm Nathan, your half white guy.
I'm Nick, your one white guy.
And today we are talking about one of our favorite, or at least my favorite, might be one of your favorite now, franchises, and their newest movie that we just saw, Final Destination, Bloodlines.
What was the last horror franchise that had Bloodlines in it? I want to say it was Hellraiser.
Probably.
But you're the fan. You're the resident fan. I'm more of like kind of a new fan, coming in my own, finding out about these. Really, just the first one I saw was that fourth one.
Which, again,
years ago,
everyone agrees is the worst. The best part about a new movie, especially the new Final Destination coming out, is the fandom getting revived. And all over TikTok, because I'm the one that's on it, everyone universally agrees that the fourth one is the worst. There's never a fight about the fourth one. Everyone agrees the fourth one is the worst, but there is a giant fight over what the best one is.
Is it between like 1 and 3?
It's all of the rest are fucking slugging it out. Like
really?
They're proponents of everyone. Everyone will say it's the first. There are people that are like, no, it's the second. It adds the most dimensions. I'm on the camp of the third, and then other people are like 5 because of the twist.
Where does this one sit?
Some people are saying this is the best one now.
I hear a lot of people aren't really happy with this one.
Okay,
fans especially, actually.
I thought this one, at least me personally, I thought this one was okay and at least a lot of fun. At least I said, hey, this is something we haven't seen before. We've never seen death operate within a family. That's something new. We never saw it where everyone related is getting taken out one by one by one. Usually, the rest of the entire series is a bunch of random strangers.
Yeah.
It's always been strangers. Kids, random people at a racetrack, people that were unfortunately on a bridge, stuff like that.
Roller coaster.
Random people on a highway. Like stuff like that. This is like, how does death operate when he's taken a long time to get to the people of survivors of a supposed accident, and now he's got to start working his way down.
How much does that gotta suck, realizing your life meant fucking nothing? It's like you were never supposed to exist. The stakes are so much higher because it's a family. So that's clever on them for implementing that new twist into the movie.
Yeah.
Because, after a while, the strangers bit does get a little old.
Mm-hmm. So I like that. That's a new concept we haven't seen, and in all seriousness, I'm happy they're pursuing it.
Hang
on really quick. I'm gonna turn it down because it's just like loud as fuck in my ears. I'm just turning down the volume, not the actual thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I forgot.
Okay. So we got to see this, about a week ago, a little over a week ago now?
Yeah, we went saw this.
IMAX. In IMAX.
I love seeing junk food in IMAX, because everyone goes to see a Chris Nolan in IMAX. Yeah. Everyone goes to see a Mission Impossible in IMAX, which I just did.
Do they? Do you go see Mission Impossible in IMAX, listeners and viewers?
I do.
Okay, well, Nick does. All right, continue.
The theater was packed.
Okay, fine. Other people see it.
Well, I mean, you go see.
I'm gonna
what IMAX is usually like advertising when they say filmed in IMAX cameras.
Sinners in IMAX was pretty good.
Do you go see Sinners in IMAX though, people?
Oh yes, Ryan Coogler specifically. Ryan Coogler specifically shot like the big.
Be a bitch ass too. But there's something fun about seeing just. I don't know. Maybe it's just me because growing up, IMAX was just like the gold standard of like movie going. Like you go see the epics on that. So it's always been fun when I got older to say like, I'm down to go see The Equalizer in IMAX. Sure, just like the very violent, usual, just kind of crowd pleasers instead of like the more thoughtful. Do you know what I mean? There's something so fun about just like, I'll
seeing non-genre defining movies.
Yeah, sure. I'll waste my money to see it on the biggest screen with the loudest sound surround system possible.
Well, you need to ask yourself, do you want to watch a movie or do you want to be part of one?
I felt like I was part of it when did we see this in 3D? No, I felt like I was part of it a few times.
No,
like
Final 5 was in 3D, or Final 4 was in 3D, I think.
Like when Grandma gets it in this, I was just kind of like, okay, I feel like that almost went through me too.
Yeah, fair enough. I should have also said, obviously, spoilers for Final Destination Bloodlines. If you haven't seen it yet.
Oh my God, you know what this is. You know what it's about. No, everyone's fucked, okay? Come on.
Once they figure it out, you're dead.
The only one you shouldn't spoil is 2, I think.
Yeah.
2's got a good twist.
Well, 2 had some. This one had some depth to 2. Should we get into who's in the movie right now?
Who is in the movie? Because it's always fun to see a big. It's always fun to see something on a big screen where you don't recognize a lot of people.
Yeah. This has some fairly unknown people, so I'll go into it. Final Destination Bloodlines, released this year, 2025, directed by Zap Lipovsky and Adam Stein. Really quick. So they did Freaks. Oh, they did the Kim Possible movie. That's what I remember. And they also were part of Leprechaun Oranges. Starring Caitlin Santawana as Stephanie Reyes. I believe that's correct. Richard Harmon as Eric Fenberry. Fenberry. Yeah. He's not whatever the actual last name. I forget what the last name of the white side of the family is.
Yeah, the Trump supporter looking side of the family. I'm sorry, but that daughter, I just was just like, you look like you'd be at a rally, honestly.
Well, what's so wrong about him? Film me a TikTok. Let me do TikTok in front of this. Eric Fenberry, and finally, most importantly, Tony Todd reprising his last role as William John Bloodworth. I had no idea that was his middle name in this one.
I don't think he ever had one.
I don't know. It was always William Bloodworth.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to our spooky king.
Seriously.
Yeah. It was heartbreaking to kind of see him on screen, but I was so happy he was.
It was a very bittersweet moment in this, but I did. It's funny I mentioned. I did like the diversity of the family, at least. I thought that was kind of clever. That it's, it gave everybody a chance to shine at one point. It's kind of a colorful cast of characters. Like, they're not all just one ethnicity. Yeah. Like, obviously, the cousins each have a different side to them.
Yeah.
So, I thought that was clever as well. Added a little more, not levity, I was going to say, but, I am rambling. I don't know what I'm fucking saying.
Yeah, add a little more. So here I'll try to give you one.
It's a little more realistic.
Just it feels more average, like average people.
Yeah, it feels more like an actual branched out family. Yeah, family tree.
Instead of just only white people.
Yeah, only white people.
And one person of color stuck in the middle somehow.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that they've changed. It's
a diverse, quirky family.
Yep, and I will give a shout out to Teo Briones. I think Briones. I think his last name is Briones.
Oh, he's the brother.
Yeah, he's the brother, but he was also Devon Sawa's son in the Chucky series, which is a important note because Devon Sawa is the root of all Final Destination. So I watched an interview with Teo Briones, who's the son.
This is the brother.
Younger brother. He said that after he got the news that he'd been casted in Final Destination, the first person he texted was Devon Sawa and was like, "I'm in Final."
That's my boy.
Good job, kid. You got to look real sweaty in one scene like I do. Devon Sawa in one where he has the vision is the sweatiest man I have ever seen in my life.
He's really good in that first movie,
of course.
man.
But when he's like, "There's not the plane's going down," I'm just like, that is the most sweat I've ever seen at it. And so that's our cast. A lot of unknowns, but honestly, that's what Final Destination is really for. I feel like a lot more younger unknown actors or actresses come in, get a kind of start or get kind of a help with their career with it. And I feel like there's rumors going around that they're going to make another Final and they're going to put Jenna Ortega. Don't do it.
Oh, please, no, that takes away from it. It's great when we don't really recognize the people. It just adds so much more realism to it because they're just normal to us. Okay. We recognize people. That takes away from the overall experience, right?
I wonder if they do put Jenna Ortega. Let me ask you this: if Final 7 has Jenna Ortega, what do you think her character's like?
dead.
Moody, annoyed.
I just think
hates her parents.
I think if they did something like that, they would be clever to just kill her in like the first 5 minutes.
Absolutely good idea. Just take her out and be like, let's meet the real person.
Why do you hate Jenna Ortega?
I don't hate Jenna Ortega.
You hear that, TikTok?
I'm tired of seeing her play the same character in all these other movies. But I'm glad she's getting
she's good in X.
I'm glad, but I'm glad she's getting kind of branched out. Like Death of a Unicorn had some like a little bit more diversity for her character at least.
All right.
But I think she needs to.
That one.
But I feel like, it's something specifically with like same thing. It's like she's arguably transferable from like Beetlejuice to
she's just
Wednesday to like a couple others. It's time. I'm glad they're moving on.
Scream.
They're giving her. Yeah, it honestly feels almost the same as Scream.
A little bit.
Yep. All right. Want to lead us in with the IMDb summary?
Sure. The summary as follows is plagued by a recurring violent nightmare. A college student returns home to find the one person who can break the cycle and save her family from the horrific fate that inevitably awaits them. That's ominous.
Yeah. Ominous.
If you've never heard of one of these movies before, that's actually kind of a cool summary.
Yeah, and maybe that's also kind of why the new final is, this one is specifically a little bit more, cheap kind of popcorn, like another final movie. It might be people's starting point again into the series because it's been so new generation.
Sure.
Starting point into the series.
It's been like 15 years since the last one.
14, 15 years since we got one. What was it?
2011.
2011, yeah, 14 years. So, it might be people's starting point. Maybe they're going to do other ones and hopefully go in and bring some other people back.
Oh, I hope they do. I'm glad these are back.
Yeah. I just have one question from you. What kind of roller coaster did you get on? And turn around, it's fucking
Mary Elizabeth.
Winstead. Did you get on a roller coaster? Turns out she actually made it.
Ali Larder shows up just all burned and everything.
Yeah.
Did you go into a hospital?
Or on a plane, or like crash your van in the middle of nowhere.
Crash your van. What's that from?
Final 2, where they crash the car and the girl's stuck in there with the jaws of life.
Oh. Can you be a little quieter with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. This
Here, I'll put it on quiet mode. Thank you.
That's my favorite. I love Final 2. I thought that was a blast. Final 3, though, we'll get to that one. But for now, we're doing Bloodlines. Again, you're right. For kind of a newer generation, I thought... And I could really tell, too, that there's a lot of humor in this that's missing from the previous movies because of how a lot of comedic elements are incorporated into movies nowadays. But I thought a lot of it worked, actually.
Yeah.
And especially because they're all family members, and they all do have like this kind of unconditional putting up with each other.
Yeah.
So it felt...
We're obligated by the law.
No, you're right. It did feel more like an obligation that they are together and they're all kind of hanging around together. It makes it so much easier and makes so much more sense why they're all in the same room together.
Yeah.
Why they all keep having to come together. But I thought their chemistry with each other was great.
Oh yeah.
Each and every one of them have like great moments with each other, I thought.
Yeah. It works.
So that's where I thought a lot of the comedy and a lot of the heart kind of shone through. Mm-hmm. So good on the movie for that. I feel like not that any of that's missing from the previous movies. They're just really different because of the time period that the other ones came out.
Yeah, this is more of a cynical movie, I would say. This one definitely feels a little more cynical. It feels like a modern... I feel like there's this aesthetic, and me and my partner were talking about this like Gen Z type of feel of movies.
Sure.
It's like, it's cynical. There's a lot more like traumatic humor baked into it. Mm-hmm. Like the whole thing about...
How many times is... Stephanie going to like scream at the camera with blood covered in blood.
Yeah, it's
watching all of her loved ones die.
Like 3 or 4 times.
It's great.
Yeah, it feels like it's it's kind of like an updated, obviously more. It has a bigger budget and stuff, but there's no. I would say there's no millennial melodrama in this at all.
No,
not like the old movies where we had some melodrama in our
from like the CW or something.
Oh yeah, we loved it.
That's what makes those movies charming now.
Oh yeah, the old finals. Oh yeah, I mean they have like that. Everything is also a lot more as cynical as it is. Obviously, there's no like humor where you're like, ooh.
but there's some seriousness to be taken in those old movies.
Yeah.
Well, not taken, but some of those movies take themselves very seriously. At least the first one does.
Oh, the first one does, but
in many
it
regards
still does it well.
But this one, the seriousness comes from it's this family that's watching all their loved ones die. That's kind of like, oh, that sucks, man. That adds some gravity to it. But this one, as compared to the first one, is constantly winking at the audience.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like this one is just like, this is the 6th movie in a franchise where they're all the same.
Yeah.
Basically. You know why you're here. We know why you're here.
Yeah.
You know what? Enjoy.
Yeah.
That's what this movie is honestly always saying.
Yeah.
It does say some other things I'm not a big fan of. Like it's really forced references to the previous movies.
Oh yeah, there's
one
a couple.
one in particular shows up a few times, and I don't think I'm the biggest fan of it.
Oh, where they keep bringing in log trucks.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
The first time they do,
they love that log.
they
truck.
love the log truck from 2 because that
It's an iconic
that millennial
crash,
like fear from that movie took off on the internet like years ago.
There's tons of logs around. Yeah.
So everyone's always so they make fun of it in this.
Yeah.
A little too much, I think.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of how they ended up using it.
Yeah. It ends up coming back.
There's a good reference.
We'll spoil it. I mean, they get crushed by logs at the end.
It might as well be a Family Guy ending.
Yeah.
You know what? But
their arms all twisted behind their back.
Peter Griffin. But the first reference to it I thought was good, but then they kept referencing it.
What was the first reference to
when
it?
she sees it in Grandma's book.
Yep.
And Grandma's book references all the other movies, actually.
Some yes and no. I saw the plane. I didn't see anything. 3 has like no connection to this one at all. I didn't see anything from 3. I finally saw. I was rewatching some of the scenes that people took out of put on YouTube. I finally saw the reference to Flight 180. It's once.
Where is it?
One reference, and it's in the beginning. The license plate essentially reads Flight 180. I think it's like they have like an FL T180 something on it where they pull up the red car in the beginning has a Flight 180 license plate.
Okay.
So we got one. Now,
you wanted more.
Now they need to. You don't need to listen. You need to understand, everyone. In Final Destination, they shove 180 down your throat at every possible.
Oh, in 2, hands down,
possible thing. 180 is everywhere. They'll put it in 3. They put it in 4. They'll put it. It's everywhere. They will shove Flight 180 down.
Is it in 5?
It is in 5.
Oh, that's kind of a cool omen.
Yeah. It's
if you know what 5 is, but
but see, they shove it down, so that doesn't happen here. The one thing that they don't seem to be able to reference is, I really think 3 is kind of an island unto itself right now because it introduced a whole bunch of ideas that they have never touched again.
What about 4? Because 4 is just kind of a bastard child of the franchise.
4 is.
The ones with Tony Todd all seem to be like roped together very well,
4 is its own thing as well. 4 also includes, man, because this.
Because at the very least, 5, 1, and 2 all connect to each other in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
3 is separate, so is 4.
Yeah.
This one brings Tony Todd back. Again, it's pretty heartbreaking to see him, but at least when he's talking to the characters, he might as well be talking to us, which is a very bittersweet send off. But oh man, I agree with you now. It was pretty heartbreaking to see how he looked by then.
Yeah.
But I love him so much for like going to do it too. Anyway, even though he clearly did not look well.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say
his one scene in the movie is great though. So it's a wonderful send off to not just the character but to him as well.
Yeah.
So we'll miss him.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously there's a couple interesting facts I can tell you about this. I forgot that I just remembered the last name of the white side of the family is the Campbells, if it's a reference to a Bruce and Nev Campbell, obviously. Just like the rest of the series, all the characters with names and places have references to like usually horror icons and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah, this is like one of those Wes Carpenter movies. Anyway, and then also Reyes, Xavier Alonda Reyes horror film and effect. So that has kind of all that work on it.
That's pretty cool. It's funny you mentioned effects though, because you were not too happy with
Well, I mean,
the ones in this.
Yeah, it just feels like it's a little bit. I want a little more practical, and I think they mixed. There were some times they did some good practical.
There's a lot of CG.
There's a lot
of
CG, more CG.
I didn't have that much of a problem with it. I understand why you did, though. I understand why anybody would. Me personally, I just thought, you know what? For the tone of the movie, what this kind of movie is, those fit fine.
Yeah,
like how ridiculous they look, and there's only so much you can do with makeup, and it's clear that, you know, maybe they had to cut some corners, maybe they had to save some money and whatnot, because again, we live in a day and age where you making something on your computer is cheaper than just like hiring people to make it in real life.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate. But for this movie, I accepted it just fine. Like when that dude just gets split in half in the elevator.
Yeah.
I loved that. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
But sometimes they can just be really obvious, like the garbage truck, like the garbage compactor death. That's just kind of like, that doesn't look that great.
Yeah. Well, so they have the practical with the actual stunt happening, right? But then like a lot of the blood and everything is the CG, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yes.
Like I was watching a video where they kind of were showing how they would do it and how it like basically pushes your actual head out of the way. So, you know, like it looks like it's, you know, crushing your face.
Yeah.
But you have any opinion about the lawnmower death?
It was fun.
It was fun. No. Sinister does it better.
Oof.
Oh, shit. Fuck.
Let's see. Nothing's happening yet. Nothing yet. I guess he's just mowing his. Oh my god!
It's so loud.
I made my friends watch that for a movie night one time. They were floored at that. That got them so good. They're like, oh!
I about jumped 8 feet in the theater when I saw that. I was like, fuck, man. But we all feel like Ethan Hawke because he jumps out of the way too.
He turns it off immediately.
Yeah,
he's like, what the fuck? Sinister's great.
Part of the reason also I would say that this has like a Gen Z feel to it as far as a movie. They had the directors encouraged ad-libbing in blocking.
Okay.
So like there's a lot of like, you know, kind of just ad-libbing that came in. So they kept a lot of the ad-libs that came in from the actors fine. It's definitely has that. Maybe it's cynical because we're all cynical. All of our humor is very cynical now.
Well, I'm glad they did, because that's kind of like what a family would do, I guess. You know, like make digs at each other or just say random shit sometimes, because you know they're your family. You're kind of stuck with them no matter what. I did want to ask, how does this premonition rank among other premonitions?
I mean, it's a massive premonition, right? We've never seen it where like. You know,
this is a bigger scale. I thought this was awesome.
It is a much bigger scale, and it definitely shows what you can do with like more budget, more CGI, and you know, create a whole tower
and tension too. The build up to some of these like demises are really well done in this. It's like this is one of the best. This is a really well made like final movie. I thought like despite from the obviousness. It being, you know, CGI, lots of CGI blood, but again. I didn't have much of a problem with that because I felt they fit the movie's tone, like of just like how nihilistic and like nasty the movie could get.
Yeah,
like when she falls and it gets impaled through the mouth, like, and then that's when she wakes up. And
she dies that same way in real life.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, something through her mouth.
That's wow. Yeah, that's right. Yep. That's right.
Yep.
She's like, "Gotcha, bitch." But. I thought this was so fun, but I will say I do think this I think this. Sorry, I'm gonna start over. Well, I thought this opening in this not Space Needle was kind of fun.
Yeah.
No, sorry. Well, I thought the opening premonition was a blast. You don't know it's a premonition yet, but that's how all these movies start.
Yeah.
But do you think like attendance to the Space Needle in Seattle went way down after this came out?
Well, it's hard to say, but I will say if you've been following Final Destination Bloodlines TikTok, every time somebody they're posting, every time somebody posts about visiting like the stratosphere and they're doing something, or like there's like a tower in like I think Taiwan that was posting about like, hey, we just opened, come on, Final Destination Bloodlines TikTok will comment and be like, hell yeah, be right there. on all of them, and it's really, really funny that's happening.
There's a good soundtrack in this too, because they play Shout at the beginning of this.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely, I mean, they brought back the idea of the death song. There was no death song in 4.
No.
There's no death song in 4.
Okay.
The closest thing we got was "Why Can't We Be Friends?" as the racist dude's getting dragged down the street and lit on fire. Is like that's the closest thing we got. But all of the rest of them, technically, like Final 3 does not have one, but they bring a type of, they bring the Vogues standing behind you in later, and they play that multiple times. So then it's like that's technically the death song of 3. Like they play the roller coaster, but then that's only one scene.
Yeah.
And when I talk about a death song in Final Destination, I mean it has to play more than once. If it plays once in a scene where a character dies, that's not a death song. That's just a song. Number 1 has Rocky Mountain High play 3 times. Final 2 has Highway to Hell play twice. Stuff like that. And the only reason I'm giving Final 4 a pass is it has no death song at all. No death song.
This, would you say Shout is the death song?
Oh, Shout's the death song.
Yeah.
She hears it again at one point
Well,
later.
they play it at the end credits.
Yeah. Well, no, she hears it as the, as the end is he's going to prom, and he hears the car go by, and she hears like the Shout play again. That's the death song.
Okay.
So, but I will say,
see, this is why you're like a seasoned fan. Like these are the kinds of intricate details you can like obsess over.
Yeah.
And like not get called weird for it.
Yeah. Well, so like I'll say this, my final thought about the opening scene. The one thing I appreciate that's a little different with the family. Not the biggest fan of like the separation of like time in between. Okay, we're starting with this. Okay, it's a dream. I'm on board. And then like they go to the grandma's house and she's like, I saved a lot of lives that day. Flashback. That flashback is maybe 45 seconds at most.
Oh, where she's like, oh my God, we have to get out of here. Get off the
dance floor. And then she like leaves and then sees, young Tony Todd. Spoilers. And then is like, I saved a lot of lives that day. And death is, I was like, why did we even go away from this? It feels like, at least to me personally, it's like, bundle this all together or like, come back. It felt like a little odd to me because it's like, I know what you're talking about already. It almost feels like we didn't need to go back to it. I mean, in all the finals so far, you see that shit happened, then they flash back and he saves everyone. The person saves everyone.
The person, sure, but what I appreciated is that they did do that actually. They kind of built, what you're in for. You probably are able to put together what happened, what is going on. But, when Iris dies in the premonition, that's when Stephanie wakes up. Stephanie is, our eyes and what.
Yeah.
Stephanie is our main character, our final girl. One sec. Well, that's when Stephanie is like wakes up and she keeps having the same nightmare of it over and over again. She has no idea what to make of it. So it adds a mystery to it. She's trying to figure out what it all means and everything. Since it's been so long since one of these movies, I think they get a pass for doing that, of just like, here, let's change it around a little bit and then reveal to like maybe this newer generation or these newer fans, hey, this is what's going on. Sure, it might be a cop out, but it at least helps the story structure flow a little bit. When you find out, like when she meets grandma and finds out, oh, this is what really happened. Here's why you're having the nightmares. It's because it never happened. It was going to happen. It was supposed to. I stopped it. Mm-hmm. If we had just cut to after she gets impaled, oh my God, we got to get out of here and everything. I don't think the whole mystery would have been as impactful. It's like there would have been no mystery. It's just like, why is this girl having nightmares? So it doesn't matter. We know what this means. So what's the point of what's the point of what's the point of her like going to the wanting to go to the family and figuring everything out?
Sure. I can kind of get that viewpoint. That's my thing. I kind of like stories. I like stories to kind of just go and start where they start. Flashbacks and dream sequences. I'm like, okay. Maybe that's just my own personal aesthetic and choice, but I was just like, okay, come on, let's move forward. Like,
this is the first time they kill a kid too.
Yeah, I will say that, and he earned it. He earned it. Yeah, first time we've ever seen Final Destination off a child, except for the implied baby on the first plane.
and the mentally handicapped gentleman.
Oh yeah,
have to be a very fucked up god to
a
take
really
this.
fucked up god. Well, it's an implied one, but yeah. So that's my opinion on the opening disaster or the start. I don't know. It was okay. I liked it, but it's also.
Had fun.
Okay. I had fun. I mean, it's never not fun to watch these happen,
Oh, no.
I definitely say that. In that first opening disaster with the building, they had a 71-year-old stunt woman come out of retirement to do the fire scene.
I did read about that.
I read that. She's 71. She came
the camera lingers on her for a while, running around on fire.
That did look real, so I was like, I think she's really on fire.
No, good for her.
Which is nice to see that it was at least practical.
What's her name?
Let me pull that up.
Because she did great. Yeah. She's just kind of like, she's not even a character. She's just like one of the randos.
Yvette Ferguson came out of retirement to perform a fire stunt in the premonition scenes.
Well done.
And the director believes that it is the oldest person in the world to be set on fire on camera.
She did great.
That's the world record. So, odd thing to hold, but honestly, hell yeah.
The penny landing on the piano was great. Ding.
Well, that's all that needs to happen. Yeah,
it's like a Looney Tunes cartoon sometimes.
Yeah, this definitely leans more into like the goofy, wacky side of death. Where
there's some really silly shit. He
operates like even more Rube Goldberg like even in that. I think a little of his. I will say this, as much as he's, and I've talked about him as a character, I think a little more of his mystery is kind of gone in this.
Well, that makes sense because, again, that's the movie just winking at you. The movie's just like, we don't have to explain that much. Yeah. You know what this is.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, it's like, oh, you can see. This is an odd one, too, again. I have to go back to the other thing in a second. I was like, this is an odd one, too, again, because the main character isn't even the vision haver.
Yeah.
She doesn't have visions.
But again, I'm fine with that. They're changing it around a little bit. There has to be, there has to be some sort of mystery for, the newcomers, I guess. It's just like, how is this going to play out? What does this all mean? Mm-hmm. Sure. And again, it's been a while since we had one of these. Yeah. I give them a pass for that.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Richard Harmon, who plays Eric.
He's a
Fenberry. He's honestly a great character and he's a great actor.
He's a scene stealer. Yeah.
I loved it, and he loves Final. Like
he's a fan.
He every time they're doing interviews and they're like rank your his favorite death is Tim Carpenter getting crushed by the pane of glass in Final 2.
Oh yeah,
he loves that death. He specifically went out and I was watching they were talking about. Because they gave the cast an entire, just a bunch of the characters, the cast some. It's like, rank the deaths, and then he's grabbing it and he's like puts this right at the S tier. He goes, it's top. I don't care what anyone says.
Love it.
Tim getting crushed is my favorite death.
He's a red herring in this too.
Yeah.
Which there's and I get there's a funny twist that comes with it. Yeah, which is understandable. But
he's not actually part of the bloodline.
No, he's not. But he does fuck with the Mac Daddy. So
he fucks with the Mac Daddy.
And you get a reference. His.
And when he gets his, you get a reference to Final 5 out of his stomach, which is really funny.
Oh yeah.
With everything
the poster
going
of Final 5.
It's the poster of Final 5 with the rebar. Is his stomach in the MRI machine?
That's cool.
That's a really
his dick ring getting ripped off.
Yeah, it was really funny. I find it. They definitely have a lot of.
There's some great death in this. I love a horror or a slasher with like where there's more than maybe 2 or 3 memorable deaths. Mm-hmm. This one is no exception. So.
Yeah, definitely. So apparently when this originally started, it was not a family, or it might have been, but they were supposed to like work with like an EMT in the world of first responders and stuff like that. Where like maybe from what I was reading, it was then like somebody that's like, you know, a disaster scene, and then like the disaster, Death was going to claim some like first responders, which is really fucked up, Death. And then one of them would see the vision and save them all, and then they're all like medics working and stuff like that and stuff. So that was the first idea of this treatment, and it's been changed obviously since to reflect the family. But see, they may actually, if Death doesn't get them fully, they actually may be able to save themselves.
That's true.
They've got medical training.
They could put up more of a fight.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I definitely think that. And
they're going to make another.
Yeah.
I really believe another's going to come very soon.
Yeah, I agree. They're probably going to make a second one. This has already made a ton of money, and we'll go into that in the facts section, but definitely something that I think they're going to make another one of. And will I see it? I'm not sure. Maybe, probably. Do not put Jenna Ortega in the fucking movie, or she die early as a side character, unnamed.
Yeah, she's the Drew Barrymore.
Yeah. Not even that. Just like have her be in the disaster area, just as like an unnamed person.
Just a cameo.
Is that fucking Jenna Ortega? Blam. And gone, like out of there immediately. So at least me personally, last thing I want to say, I kind of like how they're able to Stephanie's character, Caitlin Sanawana is like able to see, like, she's like, oh, it's like a formula, got it down in the book and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I go, I appreciate that, because it's been something they've been alluding to forever. At least they did in Final 2, Final 4, Final 5. Final 3 is its own thing with trying to figure out what Death is going to do. Death has like a art kid phase in that one, where he goes off some other stuff. But I like a little bit of that. I like that, where they're trying to figure out like, how does this operate, and I appreciate who Death is as a character again. I actually really liked when the grandma was like, "I see you, you fuck," and like knocks it, so because like I understand how he does. I understand how he operates. I understand 100% how he operates.
There's a characterization there.
Yeah.
Again, like, you are the seasoned fan. These are the things that you notice more than like I would.
I appreciate also that a bunch of former Final Destination victims showed up to the premiere.
Oh yeah.
They had people that had been the dude that I know was the racist that got dragged down the street and set on fire. He showed up, and I think he showed up in costume as his character, and people loved that. One of the Ashley or Ashlands from Final 3 was there, and they even I was watching the video where they're like where it was like how Death by burned in a tanning bed, which is
a bunch of them
unbelievable.
Up, right?
Which when we talk about Final 3, the tanning bed deaths are unbelievably cruel, but they're so funny. They're fucked up. Okay, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of people there, and even added AJ Cook, who's Kimmy. They added that this movie adds that, yes, indeed, she did cheat Death.
I lived, bitch.
She is technically alive somewhere. Which
how much you want to bet they're gonna bring her back?
They probably will. They probably can requel this bitch now. Like,
now they will. This made money.
This made a lot of money.
I just have one question for you. What did you do last summer?
What did you? I just one question for you. What are you waiting for? Okay.
Fuck these kids!
Let's move on to the facts section. Facts section is real facts about the movie. We learned a bunch of facts, but let's learn about how Final Bloodlines is doing in theaters right now. Go ahead.
All right. Fact number 1. Final Destination Bloodlines was released May 15th, 2025 to a $51.6 million opening weekend. As of writing this fact section, it has made just over $99 million domestically. Some of its competition this summer of 2025 include Thunderbolts, starring Danny from Midsommar. Good for her.
Good for her.
Bitch. What did he do?
Bitch.
It's like, they drugged him, man. Yeah, he's an asshole, but he didn't. Whatever. But I'm going to put him in a bear and burn him. Fuck
him.
Fuck her.
No, she's happy.
No. Fuck the sister, most of all.
Yeah, what a
Why'd
bitch.
you kill the parents,
what
too?
A bitch. Sorry, we're done. We're done relitigating Midsommar.
We're
Okay,
done. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Midsommar.
Okay.
Clown in a Cornfield, starring a bunch of annoying kids that they spent too much time developing in the beginning of the movie. I mean, seriously, it's a fucking slasher. They're all going to die anyway. Why do I care about their home lives? Get this fucking show on the road. This is a stretch.
I have my opinions about Clown in a Cornfield, but we'll talk about that maybe later.
Just watch Killer Clowns. And
I love that one.
And finally, Lilo and Stitch. Starring Ohana means give up your family to the state and fuck off to California, I guess. Man, the internet's up in arms about that shit.
They're mad.
People are mad.
I mean, I'm gonna go see it with Crystal. I still haven't seen it yet, but we know
Sucks for you.
But I know it's gonna like apparently like the whole story of it is lost.
Yeah, and a lot of the dramatic moments that hit hard from the original are just played for comedy in this.
Mm-hmm.
For Thunderbolts though, just like that's how Marvel Tard boyfriends get their girlfriends to come see it. They sell it with Florence Pugh. It's just like my A24 girlfriend trying to get her to come see Marvel movies. Florence Pugh, you say?
Mm-hmm. What's the I was gonna say there's another one I was gonna say something I don't know. People are upset. People are upset about Lilo and Stitch. Apparently, I got it. They got rid of my fruity little alien, and they made him not so in drag anymore.
Oh yeah, Pleakley.
Pleakley doesn't dress in drag as he always did.
They're trying to cater to too many people, man. And Captain Gantu's not even in it. Apparently,
yeah. If Pleakley was in drag, they would be like, the MAGA would be like, woke alien in drag.
This woke alien bullshit.
He's not even here legally. And now he's dressing in drag.
It's unfair.
DEI. Continue. So yeah. I mean, I don't know what I have to say about Clown in a Cornfield. I didn't like it. I thought it was. Well, I'll say this. I thought it was mediocre, leaning more toward bad.
Mediocre.
It really is like, imagine it meets Hot Fuzz. That's how I would describe it. It was like, I get it.
I think I know what you mean. By that.
And I'm just like, okay, listen. I know most of these kids are gonna die, and they're just kind of annoying. So I was like, can we just like get to like the killing?
I wasn't annoyed with anybody in this movie.
Yeah,
I wasn't. It was like as fun as
Final Bloodline.
Yeah, as fun as it was to watch the deaths, it was kind of like I do feel a little bad seeing these people watch their loved ones just get taken from them horribly. You know,
very much so.
Adds a little seriousness to it. Good for them.
So let's talk international numbers for Bloodlines. So obviously things have been changed since I wrote that FAQ section a couple days ago. It's sitting at 104 million right now. So good for them. Domestically, internationally, 109. So we're sitting at a grand total of $213 million worldwide
on a budget of 50.
On a budget of $50 million. We are probably going to cross 250 by the time it's out of theaters.
Is this the biggest budget final movie?
I think it's the biggest budget final movie so far.
They shouldn't fuck with the budget though, I don't think.
No,
I think they should retain that kind of charm that they put in this kind of tone for the movie.
Yeah.
You know, if they do make a next one, they're going to make a next one. I don't think they should try to like amp their budget a little bit more because then that's where the comparison of like movies flopping starts coming in. It's just like, well, they amped the budget up because the last one did so well, but the last one did so well because they worked with what they had. They only had so much.
Yeah. And this ranks as an interesting fact, at least on the numbers. We're sitting at number 18 and like the top ranking day for a horror movie domestically.
Nice.
As far as like how much money it made in theaters, it's sitting at 18, which isn't bad at all considering the heavy hitter is It. And then top horror day domestically as follows. The top two are It, both September 8th and 9th of 2017, where it made $50 million in one day. And then 3, if you can believe it, is Five Nights at Freddy's.
I can't believe it.
I can't believe that. Followed next 4 and 5 by It Chapter 2 on 6th and 7th.
Okay.
Of September 2019, followed by hell yeah, look at this, man, you got it. Halloween 2018 is at number 6.
Yeah.
There you go. Shout out to Jordan Peele for Us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, number 7. So
all of those make perfect sense. Honestly.
And wait, at number 10, you will never believe it. Paranormal Activity 3.
Obviously. That's like I think that was like the highest grossing one.
So Final Bloodline sits at 18, which is not. Oh shit, it's losing to The Nun. Come on now.
The Nun's fun. I like The Nun.
Yeah.
You just don't like those Conjuring movies, man. We got that in front of this as well. And I leaned over to him. I was like, "It's your favorite."
Yeah, we're gonna do a whole series.
We'll do a video.
We'll do a series or 1 or 2. Where do you want me to just walk around pretending to be the crooked man?
You are the crooked man.
You're a British
You don't
man.
have to be. You don't have to pretend.
Yeah. And as always, I'd like to introduce a new segment on this show, especially with modern movies that come out. We've done this segment before, but I want to officially name it. Let's see how Night Swim's doing. So Night Swim is still sitting at the bottom of 2024.
Will you stop checking this if we review Night Swim?
I will still check it. Every time. You're never going to know when it's going to happen. So Night Swim is sitting at the bottom. It is still ranked 2,846 on all-time domestic, number 3,451 on all-time international, and number 2,984 on all-time worldwide. So overall, Night Swim is still not doing well, but will it be able to make a comeback before we check it next? We'll review that. And that's it for the Night Swim segment.
Know what you should do? Real talk. You should pick like every year. You pick a new Blumhouse movie that didn't do very well to like check up on.
I mean, have you seen the trailer for Megan 2?
Yeah, where it's Terminator 2.
I was like, all right, I kind of respect what they're doing
because they just lean into it.
They know. Yeah. I was like, oh my god, it's like Blade Runner.
I was surprised we didn't get that in front of this.
Hold on to your vaginas. This bitch.
They playing Britney.
It's Britney, bitch.
In the trailer. We got I Know What You Did Last Summer, which kind of looks fun. When the dude gets harpooned through the shoulder, I was like, oh, okay.
I'm 50-50 on that one.
All right. This looks like fun.
I mean, that one's just a pure requel.
Because you know what I
think?
They
bring back Freddie Prinze Jr.'s in it.
Jennifer Love's back. Know what I think they're going to do is... I think it's going to be another clown in the cornfield thing, like for you, where it's like, we don't care about these people.
We don't care.
We just want to see them die.
We don't care.
Did you really care that much about them in the first I Know What You Did?
No, not that much.
No. Oh my God, we hit a boot.
Where's the foot? Oh my God. Okay. So overall,
I'm glad to see Night Swim's where it deserves to be.
So, that's Night Swim. All right. I don't have a story mark. This is just kind of out. I read some basic stuff about this, but I feel like, we'll learn more about this movie as, time goes on and a couple more back ideas are revealed. Nick, go ahead and give this a rating. Final Bloodlines. I thought this was so much fun. I really did enjoy myself watching it in an IMAX of all things. My first Final movie in a theater. And for all the new things that they did bring on, I thought they worked very well. Yeah.
In comparison to the old movies. You can't take the old movies away. Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
They have their own charm. They have that they're from a different time period. For how they updated the formula and the story, the design, if you will, for this new one, I thought worked very well. And I thought the death was a lot of fun. So I'll give it a 78.
Cool. I wanted a bit more. I wanted a little bit more. I liked the story. I thought it was fun. But I would love a little bit. I feel like this was the perfect time to just put in some, references and maybe add some overall perspective over a little bit more of the past final stuff. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be ham-fisted. We already got the clear. I personally thought them bringing up Kimmy from Final 2 was like really ham-fisted.
Ham-fisted being. What?
Oh, it's just like, there. Tony Todd's like, it's like there was a named Kimberly Corman, and she found herself at death's list, but then she died, and they brought her back, and it's just like
she technically did die.
She did die, so then they brought her back. So then she, they get out of it. Which, they add a little bit of clarification that like, basically there's only two ways, and they're basically the ones we learned from Final 2 and Final 4. Either you kill or you got to die. Mm-hmm. You can kill that baby. Oh, let's not do that.
That was funny.
I did appreciate it.
Again, that's why I wanted
a little bit. I wanted a little bit more, but I also understand that there's definitely got to be a balance between new fans that are getting into the series for the first time and the old heads that want to see a little bit more of like what is it like if you were to give like an overall view and looking at like past things, how would it work? Simple thing I thought they could have done, it could have been simple things. It's like, oh shit, like maybe the people that lived in or the family members that survived some of the towers, maybe that's like Devon Sawa's family. Like something like that.
Oh, you wanted it all to connect to everything.
It can. It doesn't have to do a ton, but it's just like, maybe this is why Death took down that plane more than anything.
It's ironic you say that because you love 3, and 3 has fuck all to do with any of the others.
Fuck all to do, because it's a very contained story, and this definitely has elements of it. I'm going to go ahead and give this a 55. I loved
55.
55. I loved it. I thought I did enjoy it, which is really funny that I give it this, but I just want a little bit more.
I'm used to it.
Yep. So you're like, I have no idea.
I thought this was great. 50.
Yeah. 66.5 for Final Destination Bloodlines. 66.5 for Final Destination Bloodlines, and overall, I think that's fair. Nick, we'll play our last game here. Tell me your favorite and least favorite death in this.
In this?
Yeah, tell me about
not just the franchise.
No. This movie, Final Bloodlines. Tell me your favorite death.
Least favorite is probably the very end.
Least favorite.
It looked funny, but at the same time, I was just kind of like, you're overdoing this reference.
I'll agree with you.
Yeah.
I'll agree with you. I was like, okay, whatever.
I did love when that old motherfucker just got split in half by the elevator.
Yeah.
And the kid.
The kid
the piano landing on the kid was really funny. So, but those are premonition deaths. Do they really count? Let's do one premonition death and one real
Tell
death.
me your premonition favorite death.
So it's probably the old man.
Yeah.
And the real death, it might be grandma. Because it jump scared the fuck out of me. Seeing is believing. She was just like, here, watch this.
I want to see something fucking crazy. Oh, she's out.
I can get her. Hey, kids, you want to see a dead body? How about you?
I ain't had to swing this arm since I threw that brick. That's like warming up.
Alex Browning just.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and say favorite death in the premonition is the kid. I love seeing that piano, perfectly targeted piano. That killer aim.
Boo.
Anyway, least favorite death I'd also give to the end. Almost like, okay. I mean, it does follow every other final.
It's funny.
Where it's
sure,
like,
but that's it.
You thought you got away.
Yeah.
You thought you got away.
The best ending is still 2.
Yeah.
Where they look over at the ground.
I'm gonna go ahead and say the MRI death is pretty good too. I think you get a little bit of combo in there. I think there's a little bit of humor when Julia gets knocked into the trash can.
That's very funny.
That is pretty funny just because she's like, this is how this would happen, and it happens. So I'm gonna go ahead, but I'll say MRI death is my favorite. Eric getting folded into
after all of his piercings get ripped off
into the MRI by that, which is really funny because at the end of the day, as soon as I turned and saw the MRI machine, I would have been out of there immediately.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, that isn't safe.
Do you know what these things can do, man?
This is very unsafe. You ever been in like a doctor's office where they're like, you'll be fine, and I'm like, do I need like some protective stuff to like, and they're like, no, you'll be fine, and then they go stand somewhere else, and I'm like, you're protected.
They do that at the dentist sometimes when they're taking X-rays
Hey.
of your mouth, so they have you bite down, and then it was just like, all right, hold on one sec.
Claire. He's like in the radiation suit from Back to the Future. It's like, you're good.
Playing Van Halen.
Play Van Halen. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode of the One and a Half White Guys podcast. Be sure to follow us, rate us, and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast from. And don't forget to follow us on our Instagram at One and a Half White Guys Pod, on TikTok at One and a Half White Guys Pod, and now on our YouTube, which is hopefully where you're watching this, at One and a Half White Guys.
And be sure to tell a friend to listen to the podcast where we say we're going to talk about a movie, and instead we just talk about shards of glass.
Talk about death.
We just talk about how annoying teenagers are.
Have you seen Death's Designs?
No, but I have seen The Weird, the Bad, and the Bloody, which is our second show exclusively on the Nerd Enthusiast YouTube channel. It's where Nathan and I bring to you reviews of the weirdest, baddest, and bloodiest movies of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. So check that out if you feel so inclined.
There needs to be more of them. We need more weird, bad, and bloody in the 2020s now. Mostly just weird.
What would you call this?
Bloody. It's bloody. Yeah. Very good. All right, guys. Thank you so much for checking us out and watching this episode. And Penny, for your thoughts.
Hold out your hand.
You know you make me wanna.